Thus ends the awesome music. And thus begins probably the worst part of the chapter that you actually kind of need to do. Toei says, bring me any odd stuff you find, and he might be able to invent something from it. Hell, he's not kidding. He can refine a lot of things. For example, let's take this Gutsy Taiyaki here. You would think he wasn't going to be able to refine food. And he messed up. Luckily, him messing up doesn't eliminate your item or anything. But it does make you spend a little bit of time. I want to show you how annoying this is first. Because he has about a 50% chance of messing up, and a 50% chance of him doing what you need him to do. Yeah, gladly frame skip and save states are a thing. But he keeps messing up. Would you stop messing up the demonstration, please? I want to show you doing this right one time, old man. Come on. Also, I don't know why the explosions. And for a Gutsy Taiyaki, he gives us something called a potion number 9. Which is, by far, the best healing item you can get. Not just in this chapter, but it really is the best healing item you can get in the game. And we want a lot of those. Also, the other stuff... The reason you wanted to, it would have been a better use. The reason you actually wanted to get the shower cap, the jeans, the boxers, and all this is he can actually refine all of these into actual useful equipment. It's not the only thing he can refine. Far, far, far from it. And with this save state, I hadn't actually collected any napalm bombs or anything. Napalm bombs from the initial fight. I didn't get that lucky. But he can do quite a bit. He can give you full... He can basically outfit you pretty well right here. And that's what you want to do. And then, after you've refined as many of the potion number 9s as you really want, you can go back and actually sell more Taiyaki. And refill these stores. Because there's another healing item you can get kind of at random. Because some items refine into more than one thing. And if they refine into more than one thing, you will kind of get whatever they refine into randomly. Like, for example... the banana crepe. The banana crepe can refine into a Gutsy Taiyaki, a Misawa Taiyaki, or a Matango Light. A Matango Light being something you haven't seen yet. But it's basically it's like an area mid-heal. decent little healing item. But anytime you refine a taiyaki, a first aid, or a banana crepe, they can turn into any one of those three. And any one of those three, the Gutsy Taiyaki, the Matengo Light, or the Misawa Taiyaki, if you refine them, they will only refine into the potion number 9. The Shower Cap, I don't think the Shower Cap actually refines into anything. No, I don't think it does. But it's pretty lousy for an actual thing. The weird thing is, the panties you got are probably the only thing I don't like refining, because you only get one, and it refines into one of 4 different things. It can turn into a magic pendant, which docks your other stats but gives you high IQ. It can turn into a potion number 9. It can turn into a power wrist, or it can turn into a rider boot. I don't want to know how. I really don't want to know how a pair of panties can do that. They must be magic panties borrowed from the Ace Attorney series. But I think the Taiko's Punch... Yeah, the Taiko's Punch is kind of the highest level you can get, so it's probably the best thing to equip. But the glove will turn into a bowling ball, and then the bowling ball will turn into the punch. So you get a lot of that. And then, after a few hours of that, I said after a few hours of that, you will end up with things like battle shirts, the Shinju shirts, a bunch of potion number 9s, all of these are fine. I've kept these around because I don't need to refine them. But basically now he has a rider belt, Masanga, a really good shirt. He refined his sneakers into a thing called an iron foot. He has a power wrist, and he has a Taiko's Punch. Even this thing has some Shinju shirts on them. So, now, it is time for the grinding I'm going to show off, because it actually does a thing. And I just want to show off something. Akira basically starts out like weak as dog at level 4. He doesn't gain a lot of experience early on. And he has like next to no actual skills. He only has what you've seen. He can heal himself, he can do a mother image, he can do a sleet image, or he can elbow and low kick. And Taro, to help us out, only has a punch and a kick. We're going to fix that. And to do that, we actually do need to do some battling here. Now, at level 4, you are going to face this combination. And you want to kill everything that's not the Crusader first. Because if you kill off everything that's not the Crusader, the other enemies will actually drop some items for you. They won't give you any more experience or anything like that, but they will give you items. Hopefully we drop some. Okay, we got some power parts. And the power part has one use. We can equip it to give... We can, well, not equip it, we can use it. And it will raise his hit points by 10. The turtle bot does not level up. Ever. It is stuck at level 5 for the rest of existence. However, for every 3 battles we fight, we will get a level on Akira. And I wanted to show this off because it's kind of interesting seeing some of the stuff you're going to run into. It's a lot less useless than you think. Because it hits such a wide range. And if you can get his IQ up a few points, it does more damage and actually wipes out all those little cars. Ah, good, we got a napalm bomb. So let's go ahead, take the power parts. Give them to him. And we're going to walk back in here. And we are going to suffer for our art here. Because this napalm bomb, if it actually wants to show anything off and not just fail over and over and over again. Got a stun gun. Now, a stun gun is not terrible. Not by any means, but it's not the item we're really hoping for. Luckily, when you refine a napalm bomb, there are 3 things it can turn into. Stun gun's not terrible, but it's just not the thing I'm hoping for. But if we refine a stun gun, it refines into something. However, as people have mentioned, there are frame skips. And a poison jet. Again, not a bad item. Come on. A Kotobuki locker, which is something we will want eventually. But there's something we want even more first. Okay, the Angel's Bottle. It's not a bad item, but it's a one-use battle item and can't be equipped. So it's useful, but not for our purposes. There's another thing it could have refined into in a form of a different type of cannon. So we end up getting the Hyokoko cannon. finally, which is the top level of thing it can actually turn into. And by equipping it on the robot actually gains a new skill. It is not the best skill, not by a long shot. But it has a pretty freaking decent range. And it actually does quite a bit of damage to the right things. We want 5 different accessories, yes. And as I actually want to show off these fights, we'll probably be seeing them. And Akira gains level 5. Gains Heaven Image. We found more power parts. So now that we're level 5, we get this, which honestly is not that much more threatening than what we just ran into. Especially Heaven Image is going to be kind of interesting to show off. Because it literally does no damage to anything, but it does downgrade stats and put things to sleep kind of at random. Sadly, using a wasted shot there. And every time they drop us a napalm bomb, we can go in and get a new item for Taro here. But they've got to drop them, and they don't drop them that often. But we're going to want a bunch of them. For a couple of reasons. And no items. Cheapskates. But as we go around here, let's actually take a look at the different places. Because there are a few other spots around this town that we will eventually want to go to. And Akira is now level 6. He gains a heal touch. We find another bomb, and we find some power parts. So, first, we go ahead and give him more hit points. And now that we found another one of the napalm bombs, let's get there it is. It had turned into a plasma spark, which actually is exactly what I wanted. So now that we are level 6, the enemies are going to change again. To this. So now the mother image is there. It's nice. You've seen it before. But the plasma spark does this. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it does enough. For most of the enemies, we're going to be a couple levels and suddenly he's rocking face, basically. Right. So plasma spark is neat. And we found an abnormal pearl. That will refine into some nifty accessories, but we will worry about that later. And just a kick. And another napalm bomb. And you notice he's already up to 300 hit points. So now, just because I kind of want to get a specific item, but it refines from one item. No, hit point doesn't raise the damage, but it does turn him into a walking abuse sponge, which is kind of what we want. Okay, now this specific napalm bomb Come on. Okay, get us another plasma spark, which we don't need. And the plasma spark will refine again into poison jet. It's all it can refine into. And the poison jet will refine into the lacquer or the stone cannon. Which again, that's something we want. Just not yet. So I don't want to have to go out and get another napalm bomb. Because this is where it can refine into an angel bottle, or what we actually want here. Like that. The Kintoto cannon. Once again, that gives us access to yet another ability for Taro there. And we've seen heaven, we've seen that. Let's just keep using this. We get a goldfish shot. Which sadly, it has a charge time. And can only land on one square. But it does decent enough damage, I guess. We're gonna goldfish him. And now that we're level 7, things are gonna change again. We get another bomb. Which means it's time to go see the next thing. However, it also means we could be in a bit of trouble. Because these enemies are, nastier. By orders of magnitude, really. And what we need to do is get out from underneath directly? Out from directly underneath them? We can use Sleet Image. And Plasma Spark. See, they do have some nasty attacks if you're directly beneath them. So we need to get a Kira out from directly beneath them. And they can still do decent chunks of his hit points. The wheelie kick is still annoying. It still hurts. but there's a reason we're making him a huge hit point sack. I wouldn't call them Mecha Gokus because I don't remember Goku having a mustache like that. Just in case you forgot he was still here. That's not where I want to stand. Yeah, we had Hell Image, which, probably use next time we get in this fight, which will be next, but let's just make sure. And yes, you did see this has the range of the entire freaking field to heal people with. Yeah, it heals everyone on the field for $9.99. That's why you want them. More power parts. Not going to complain about getting more power parts. Stun gun, not exactly what I want. Come on. And there's that. We wanted that. And do I have saves for the rest? Actually, yes. And if you're wondering what board means, it means at any time we can go on Bariki Dio and try again. It's just kind of useless. Let's show off Hell Image. Not that impressive, but you know. That is why you don't want to stand directly underneath them, because they have an attack that does 100 some odd damage to you if you do. You can also do that and just absolutely rock your world. Luckily, after we get done with this bit, there is no more save states needed. We just have the one more save state that we actually need. And more power parts are there. Let's see. But some places of note around this town. Sack of hit points. That's his job. But even with sack of hit points, Akira takes 2 good shots and he's pretty wrecked. And level 8 means it now changed. We gained Holy Ghost, which is a counter, more power parts, another napalm bomb. So, we're already familiar with the Chibico house there. And here is a little dive bar where we get offered candy if we come by a house later. And at this bar they serve something called matango. Well, apparently everybody likes matango. The shrooms juice will clear your mind. So they're dealing in some type of psychoactive drink here. And then another place of actual note. Oh yes, this particular fight. This is actually easier than the previous one in a few ways. As long as you focus fire, anyway. Come trick-or-treating? Did I miss something? No, there is no trick-or-treating. That's not trick-or-treating. You missed the beginning when we learned they are kidnapping kids. Ah. You also miss me singing. See, he only gives kids candies if they come back home with them. Helping a friend in trouble, yes, that does take priority. Yeah, he is Herbert. And up here... is a religious place. It doesn't tell you the name of this place. Not yet, anyway. More parts, another bomb. We're going to get plenty of bombs to do what we need to do. And just to let you know, basically, you will get up to level 13 with Akira doing these fights. But no higher, because once you get to level 13, they won't change up the fight on you anymore. And you won't gain experience from it anymore. Which is kind of sad, but that is the way of things. But they will keep changing this up until level 13. Into a couple of what the hell were they actually thinking formations. But as long as you actually have been refining the napalm bombs into actual usable things for Taro there, as long as you've been refining them into the various equipment, you will get what you need. And he now gains Flame Image from being level 9. At level 9, you get what is possibly the worst thing ever to fight in that freaking little cement mixer looking thing there. That cement mixer has an attack that turns you to stone. You don't have a way to fight this. It just does not exist. So, you need to stay completely out of its ability to do the stone, which is directly to the left, right, up and down, and diagonal of it. Yeah, bulldozer. I call it cement mixer because it basically covers you in cement and stones you. The flame image is nice, but we have to get up close, and that's death. So the hell image works perfectly fine for me. Luckily, the plasma spark is relatively fast. You can get 2 or 3 good shots with it. And we really don't want it to get a shot off. Molotov cocktails. The weapon seen throughout most stages, apparently. Yeah, let's actually use the dizzy shot. Why not? Dang it. Can't believe I did that. But yeah, the fun part of this is some of these fights are actual puzzles. Kind of. They're not terribly difficult puzzles. Once you get hit by the traps once, you kind of know what you need to do to avoid getting hit again. But it is kind of a puzzle fight, in a sense. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it works really well. And Akira's level 10. Which means things are going to change again. And there's one more place we will end up visiting before this chapter's over. This little place. Where they'll say, "Do you got an appointment, kid?" You can tell them yes, but they don't believe it for a second and kick you out. Or you can tell them nope, then they said get out. And you can't do anything about that yet. And this looks kind of threatening, I guess. Except, by the time you get here, you have at least Flame Image. And if you have Plasma Spark, which means you're probably still going to take a few hits. Don't get me wrong. Just keep a rough eye on their hit points and you should be fine. Ah, nuts. Hopefully it kills off the two little things down there. Yeah, it did. Okay, good. Because if you kill off the... You can kill off the Crusader and just end the fight right there. You can do that. But it will not give you items. I can't demonstrate that. Well, I might be able to demonstrate that with Akira. Maybe. Let's just actually show that off. We kill off the Crusader, and it causes everything else in here to break down. Which, fair enough. That works, that gets you through the fight, it gets Akira some experience. But you don't get any of the parts drops, and the parts drops are what you actually really want from these fights. Because you're going to be grinding up enough of them. And we'll finish off the Crusader here. So, there are a couple of other different things you can get. As I said, as you work your way through here, you're going to use some healing items, which you can go back in here at any time. You can get more healing items from him, as you already did, and then bring them down to the antique shop to refine them. So yeah. Trying to remember if the next layout or the one after that is the one that's truly a pain. Yeah, nuts. He gains freeze image. Okay, this is the simple one. Those blocks do about jack to you. They can do minor amounts of damage, at least. That's all I've ever run into them actually doing. So we get this new attack, this freeze image, and it goes pretty much just across the screen vertically. Fair enough, I guess. No, look, Plasma Spark did nothing. The flame image, however, will absolutely just wreck them. Holy blow. haven't quite spent 2 hours showing off enemies alone. Notice that the flame image, which absolutely wrecked those blocks, does nothing to the Crusader there. I don't know how that works either. Get rid of that. So, Lady Mage, I'm just curious, do you have any questions? Because you've missed like 75% of the plot to this chapter, but yet that 25% is going to feel a whole lot like a whole lot more. Because our mech is a turtle mech. Earlier in the chapter, we had one of the kids in the chapter has a pet turtle, and the turtle was dying. So we have a scientist who liquefied the turtle and then stuck it inside that mech. And now we have Turtlebot, also known as Taro. And it has cannonballs for arms. Level 12, you don't learn any new skills. But you will meet the toughest fight. Didn't we learn anything from Blaster Master? No. This is possibly the worst fight in the bunch. So what we want to do is keep these guys directly out of the immediate vicinity of, who would want a Koopa with cannonball arms? That is a good question. Yes, we did have to liquefy a dying pet. Yeah, Evangelon. Really? How do you figure that's sexual, Nightbot? How did you figure that? Automod thought that was sexual. I don't get it. But that Psycho Alpha is basically going to wreck Akira's day. Maybe they did. Maybe they did. So, and you can be very happy this is going to be the last battle like this I end up showing off. Because after this, it drops one new formation, but we'll run into that by pure accident. Yeah, there's a church, and it's not so much a corporation as it is a big science lab. It is a big government facility. Just to keep the references on par with what you expect. And these guys with the skull faces are crusaders, and they're kind of a gang that has been doing the kidnappings. And outside of the Chibico house, our job is not yet to find out why. And there's this dude back here who is first introduced to us as he rides in on a Harley and saves us from a gang attack. But his name is Matsu, and he runs a taiyaki stand. Akira is kind of unique in that he has psychokinetic powers. And then the house full of kids is the house full of kids. Basically, at the very start... Let's see if we can do this the quick way. Yeah. Because now we can teleport out of here. I said we can teleport out of here. Or actually, we don't need to. Because there's a save state for everything. Including what happens if I exceeded level 30 and then decided I wanted a whole bunch of power points. Power parts. To where I, just kind of did a whole bunch of refining. Come on. Akira now has a couple of rider belts, a coil ring, a magic pendant. And Taro has a plasma spark, a stone cannon, the lacquer, the Kintodo cannon, and Hiyokoko cannon. Still has nothing he can equip on his feet, though, sadly. But we have golden hairpins and such, and all these came from the abnormal pearls, the power parts, the various jeans, stockings, and panties that we raided at the very beginning of the game. And he also has 1,000 hit points, -1. Because I ground out that many power parts, and I ground out that many napalm bombs, and I ground out that many everything. And so meet the final the final formation that awaits you in the street over here. Because I really don't want to spend all day, I will show off the other things. The lacquer shot. Let's show off his other thing. Shadow image. He gets shadow image at level 13, which covers a decent range. And shadow image is by far his best technique. So anyway, you're just gonna chase us all over, weren't you? Of course you were. In this quickly. We don't need any more items. And we're not getting any experience from these guys.